Hey, we are live. It was supposed to be a water ski night that got canceled, weather pending. So I thought I'd make a video in and around conflict resolution. So if you're in a professional services business, conflict happens between employees, between prospects, between customers, between vendors, between investors, between partners. If you're in a SaaS-based business, it happened the exact same thing, right? There will always be conflict resolution. Products not working, features or bugs or downtime, or I thought the development roadmap would meet our expectations and it hasn't. Whatever the challenge might be. I'm coaching a team, as mentioned on multiple videos. We're around somewhere between 60 and 70 employees, a lot of them younger, newer, incredible at their craft, but many times need help with the soft skills. So with that, I've actually started building these coaching moments, these frameworks for teaching things like conflict resolution. So what I'm going to share with you is something that you can take to your team. So you're a founder, you're a chief revenue, chief marketing officer, and conflict will arise. As an example, you're a marketer. Conflict between you and sales. The leads aren't any good. Nobody's following up with the MQLs. You're a founder. There's conflicts with investors or partners or, big enterprise customers. Here is the teaching moment. So I'm going to share my screen. For those on Instagram, I'm going to talk through this. So I'm sharing my screen now. And here's what I want you to think about as a framework as I go to it. Conflict resolution, I want you to picture an ebb and a flow of breathing in and breathing out. That's actually how this works. Salespeople, this becomes either intuitive or natural, or you have to learn it, but you learn that conflict resolution is a give and a take, an ebb and a flow. So here's how it begins. Conflict has arisen. The customer calls you, emails you, whatever the medium of communication to the problem. Your role and responsibility as you teach this to somebody is an inward motion. And that's where a lot of people go wrong. So instantly, somebody's yelling in their face, conflict has arisen, somebody's getting heated, and they try to put up a shield and deflect right away. No. You need thick skin. So it's an inbound motion. You're absorbing in the customer complaint. So now you've internalized it. You can pause. You can think. Now there's an outward push, but that outward push is not a response flight. This is not like a yeah, but. This is not, I'm going to solve your problems and counteract your argument. This is a absorb in, and part number two is an exhale, but that exhale is, I heard you. I care. So what you've done is allow for the communication portal to open because they've gotten off their chest what they need to do. And you've opened up the door by absorbing the strong individual that's absorbed, internalized what you want to say. You're given more time to think about what you say. And you've exhaled to just say, listen, I hear you, I care. Next is to continue that motion so you can see the person change. Good. You've heard me. You're listening. Now it's an out. But this is a question. This is to double take that you understand the symptoms and the root cause. So the difference between, you understand the root cause rather than the symptom. What I mean by that, a lot of times somebody is complaining about, as an example, professional services. Nobody's getting back to me. And so the symptom is nobody's getting back to me, but the root cause is what you want to explore. So you're using what and how based questions from Chris Voss. So what is the proper cadence for you? How would you like to be communicated with? So the symptoms is I didn't get the information. But what you don't know is it the medium of communication? Was it WhatsApp or email that had failed or nobody had checked it? Is it the technology, like the internet went down? Is it the process that their EA or virtual assistant didn't inform them, or the information actually went to the head of demand generation, but the head of demand generation didn't tell the CMO? So here's what you're doing. You're calibrating by saying, let's back up. I heard you, but let me understand. How would you like to be communicated with? What is best practices for you? Because what you're trying to figure out is the root cause something as they explain themselves. You might discover, oh, okay, actually there's a root cause problem in the process, or the person isn't following the process. Rather than playing the blame game and all of a sudden, maybe the root cause is the technology was down, the internet was down, but you were blaming other things. So we've gone in, we've absorbed, we've said out, there's empathy. We've gone out to calibrate the question so we can understand the root cause. Next thing that's going to happen, breathe in. Whatever they say is their statement. They kind of go on a riff. Well, actually, the email went to this person. I didn't hear that. Nobody communicated with me. I wasn't in today, whatever. Now you're absorbing back in. And what you're doing is formulating an action plan that you don't have to have the answer on the spot. I will get back to you with an action plan in under 24 hours. I will get back to you, or I don't know, but I'm here to find out, are totally valid answers. You've absorbed, and now you have time to formulate real action plans. So we breathed in, we absorbed the initial shock of the complaint. We breathed out twice. I empathize with you. Let me calibrate. Let me understand a couple things, what and how based questions, so I can go double click and triple click, like 2 levels down in questions, so I can determine, is there a symptom or a root cause problem? I've asked for time. Let me formulate a plan. Now I breathe in again and I calibrate. I now turn to my teammates. This is a team-based sport. I ask for help internally. I have team-based collaboration. I use ChatGPT. I go to the internet, whatever it might be. I've now bought myself time to get the answer, but I'm going to communicate along the journey. And then finally, my outward push is an action plan. And this is where we come back to things like critical thinking, my 1-3-1. This is where I'm indicating, here's the situation. Here's the challenge that arose. Here's the resolution or recommendation. Here's the next action plan. And here's how we'll mitigate it in the future. This is fantastic conflict resolution. I highly recommend you use a model like this to be able to help you. So, hope you found this valuable. Let me kind of recap again. I breathe in, I absorb the complaint, I breathe out, I empathize with what you're saying, I push again real quick. I'm not giving you solutions, I'm clarifying questions with what and how based questions so I can double click in. Then I'm absorbing in, I'm formulating a plan. I'm going to formulate a plan. I've bought myself 24 hours. I collaborate internally. I use ChatGPT. I use mentors, whatever I need to build an action plan. And I come with a concrete plan rather than verbal diarrhea and a half-baked plan. I come with this is what I learned. Here's the situation. Here was the challenge. Here was the resolution. Or here was the situation and challenge. Here are the 3 options that I evaluated for you. And here's my recommendation. Hope you found this really valuable. Thanks.